Hi guys, I've been thinking about this startup idea for several months, and now I think it's ready. It actually triggered by a news report that earlier at the beginning of this year, when there's a Princeton University and the Duke University, they did something unusual. They basically says for Duke University, they basically says no, we won't even consider the college admission essays. Totally ignore that. Princeton, a little bit compromise. They say, well, we'll still consider the college admission essays, but every student, every applicant will have to pledge that the essay is written by themselves, not by the ChatGPT. So that tricks me that, you see that in the other field, ChatGPT or generative AI has been perceived positively, except in the higher education field, where people are associated with that, with the academic dishonesty, with fraud. So that's the thing that we have to uh, address on it. So the problem is there that some people will do the chat GPT, the generative AI chatbot that do actually make cheating easier. So there are two approaches. One is that, like Duke University did, we don't want to have anything to do with college essay because that may be written by ChatGPT, right? Or there's another related approaches that try to detect, try to find out, develop some software to figure out whether this essay is written by a student, by human, or by ChatGPT. So this is one approach. The second approach is our approach. Basically, it means that we try to make um, data-driven assessment revolution. Actually, I want to use the word revolution because when I first started thinking about it, I was just thinking about college essay, right? That's like kind of like a reform. But then, I started thinking about it. We have to make a bigger picture. So why not call it a revolution? Revolution has four reforms that I will talk about this. Before I talk about the four reforms, let's talk about this. We have to recognize that we are at a historical moment. I want to call it the Henry Ford moment. Why? Because in 1913, Henry Ford revolutionized the automobile production system. He basically, produced that black tea model. He said there's one car, one model, one color, take it or leave it, right? But he does really make the huge change. Before that, we were just, everybody is riding the horses or carriage, other things, right? Or so this one, why do I say that we're in a Henry Ford moment? It's because that right now Henry Ford, when he produced the black tea automobile, American road system is pretty lousy. Okay, it's basically the road is designed for horse and for the carriage, so there's very little paved road, no paved road. Now, after Henry Ford mass produced the automobiles, then the American government jumped in. They said, okay, let's fix that road so we can have a paved road so the car can drive on it, so the car can take off. So that's the moment. So we are at that same similar moment. If you ask me when we have a chicken first or we have an egg first, I'd have to say that we have, or in terms of the automobile and the paved road, we would say the history says that we have an automobile first and then paved road. So now we have the same thing. The AI generative systems, everybody can have access to it. Um, so we have this AI system first. What is lacking is the data, especially individual level data. Why do I say that? Because you know all this training data, all the AI tools, they've been trained, right? What does GPT stand for? GPT means generative, pre-trained, with transformer. So that's GPT. So here we see that by the time you have access to ChatGPT, or you have access to Google Gemini, or you have access to Microsoft Pilot or Cloud, Perplexity, they have already trained by the huge amount of data. The data is all about the population, right? So what is lacking now is that to make your essay, to make your college application, to make your essay unique, what is needed is an individual level to make your data individual specific, and then you can produce very unique individual specific applications. Then nobody can blame you cheating because you're using the real data. So we are at this moment. So now let's look at the problem that we're facing. We have the current, the traditional assessment, educational assessment has four features. Number one, it's using condensed data. Why do I say condensed? Because, we always limited the number of words. If you, like, for example, Harvard asks you to write a college essay, within 300 words, right? So each topic is no more than 300 words. Otherwise, they won't take it, right? And for resumes, it's a limited number of pages. For the essays, for letters of recommendations, they all have a limit. So the data is highly condensed. Okay, why? Because it's fit humans. If somebody working for the college admission, if they can read 50 or 100 application a day, that will be a miracle. The person will be very proud. He say, "Oh my God, I processed 100 application today." So that's very unusual, right? So that's why humans have limited attention span. That makes that make that they cannot handle a huge amount of data. However, now let's look at the generative AI. They can process thousands of applications in a day, right? So that's one thing. We have to go from condensed data to expanded data. That's the first thing. The second feature, traditionally, the assessment, college admission, whatever, let's just call it college admission, the assessment is done by external, meaning that there is one assessor who will be responsible for assessing hundreds or thousands, even millions of assessors and assessees. Those are two different roles. Assessor is the one evaluating others. Assessee is the one basically applicant, right? So right now, the traditional system is make the external assessment done by assessors. For example, college admission committee, faculty members, teachers, job HR department directors, these are all external. There's nothing left for the assessees, for the job applicant, for the college applicant to say much about the assessment. So that's the second feature that we're going to change, that we're going to try to fix that so that we can have a assessor's self-assessment and external assessment, both. We do both. So that's the second feature. The third feature is that the current assessment is done point direct, meaning that at a discrete time. And then there's a very little continuity in that. So now we try to fix that to make that the assessment continuous process. So that's the third features. The last feature is that the current system is, contextual free. It's standard assessment. So there's no little contextual. Why? Because the test is a standardized test. Everybody says so context doesn't matter. All we need is I just want to see what's your grade for this class, for this courses, right? I just want to see your GPA. I just want to see your application letter and essays, and that's it. There's a little contextual. Now we try to change that to make it contextual sensitive, not contextual free. So those are the four things that we want to change.